Forgive me for transitioning off of the world of sports, but I deem it necessary, particularly because I have this podcast when I want to make a correction, when I want to address things that I want to address that might not necessarily be sports related. I love having this platform to do just that. And you know what? Leave it to Breitbart News, Breitbart.com to be exact, to really get my attention per se. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Breitbart News. All right, because we want to give them some shine, right? I mean, we want to give them some pub, right? Breitbart News, that's their Twitter handle, had a caption: Stephen A. Smith is waking up big time. And it is a picture of Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, with his red tie, with his thumbs up. And that's what they're saying. That I'm getting it. I'm figuring it out, I guess. And then when you press onto the link, it highlights ESPN Stephen A. Smith, furious at Biden, believes Trump is on the verge of getting reelected, as you can see with the caption that I had put up there. Look, y'all, I want to make sure that I'm clear. Donald Trump is not getting my vote. I also want to make this clear. It has nothing to do with liberalism or conservatism. It has nothing to do with being a Republican or a Democrat, because I don't like either side particularly that much. It has everything to do with what I believe the leadership of this position, of the leadership of the free world, should entail. I believe the presidency of the United States is a statesmanship position. You should be about galvanizing and bringing folks together. And I firmly believe that Donald Trump being the next president of the United States would cause civil war in this country. That's my fear. And I stand by that. It's a fear. It's not a fact, but it is a fear. Having said all of that, the reason why this is relevant is because of why Breitbart News felt the need to bring me up. Because it talked about, first, ESPN sports commentator Stephen A. Smith. Maybe a left-winger. False. I'm far from a left-winger. I have conservative principles, like a fiscal conservative, me paying taxes. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. That is a lie. Gay rights, sure. You know what I'm saying? Pro-choice, okay. No, actually, I don't believe in separating children from their parents, whether they're legal or illegal immigrants. Absolutely true. That doesn't make me a left-winger. Nevertheless, I want to get that out the way. But my first question to Breitbart News is, why I got to be ESPN commentator? This is Stephen A. Smith show. This don't have a damn thing to do with ESPN or Disney. This is me talking about this situation. And what situation am I alluding to that raised your antennas? It was when I addressed the open border policies to some degree by highlighting what Mayor Eric Adams of New York had elected to do when they were talking about coming up with $53 million in prepaid credit cards that they were going to give to migrants. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not about open borders. I understand you allude to it to some degree, but that wasn't my focus. My focus is there's black homeless people in the streets of New York City who are American citizens. There's white homeless people in the streets of America who are American citizens. There are Hispanic individuals and beyond who are homeless in the United States of America, who are American citizens. What about them? That was the only point that I was making. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you're going to quote me accurately and contextualize it properly. Do we have a border issue? Sure. There is no doubt about that. But I'm not somebody on here that just wants to point the finger at Joe Biden and the liberals and all the things that they do wrong. I'm quite sure I've recognized the fact that the stock market is hitting a record high. Unemployment is at a record low. I think the number was like 14 million new jobs that had been created or what have you. I'm reading here from some of my notes. President Biden gave Medicaid the power to directly negotiate with Big Pharma to lower prices and cap the cost of insulin for medical beneficiaries at $35. Gas prices. The United States is now producing more oil than any country in history. Yes, more than Russia or even Saudi Arabia. And that's one of the reasons gas prices are now lower in inflation-adjusted prices than in 1974. So I get all of that. I'm aware of the fact that some could argue that President Biden has done a great job. I'm just talking about going to the supermarket and paying for some milk. I'm just going to buy a box of cereal or going to the gas tank, and you could say it's low or whatever, but how much is it really costing you compared to what you're making. I won't get into all of that. I'm just making a point that you can make arguments on behalf of Joe Biden. My argument against Joe Biden is not about his presidency now. It's about 4 more years of him when he's going to be 82 years old at the time of the election. That's all. Stop making things up. My words to Breitbart News exactly. I'm not hard to find. I'm right here. All I ask is that you contextualize my quotes accurately and address that. Stop throwing ESPN into it because that's my day job talking sports. They don't have anything to do with the Stephen A. Smith show. This is owned and operated by me. They've got nothing to do with it. I assure you of that. This is mine. Otherwise, I'd be talking sports all the time and not politics sometimes. Stick with that and stop calling me some left winger because I can assure you there are an abundance of Democrats who would call me anything but. That's all I have to say for now. But keep in mind, I'm watching you just like you're watching me.